Hello everyone, my name is Alan Brault and welcome to this short presentation of the Lean Business Process Improvement Tool. The tool is designed to be used by both novices in process improvement and also experts who want to take into account several components of a process's activities. The tool is dedicated specifically to business architects, business analysts, and lean practitioners. It helps to standardize the approach and allows you to focus on team leadership and process innovation. The visual aspect of the analysis tables and KPIs allows instant interest for all team members. Please note that there's a very detailed tutorial video that demonstrates each of the steps and components of the tool through an example of a current and target sales process. So without further ado, I'll close the camera and we'll dive into the tool. Okay, so we're into the tool. The first sheet of the tool is the license agreement. The second is the instructions. So we're going to go through that pretty quickly in this video, but there's also a more detailed video that explains all the steps here, all the columns. And so this is a really good guideline when we want to improve a process. The actual sheet is where we put the information about the as-is. So it's got the main component, which are the process steps and the numbering. But also there's all the details that you can fill out afterwards as you see fit there. So we're going to go in more details on that. The target is for the target process. Same thing here, process steps, numbering, all the details here. If you open up all the groups here, you'll see all the details. The analysis sheet, so the analysis is a set of tables that does a calculation for the number of activities, value-added, non-value-added activities. The left side is mainly for including the delay, and the right side is for excluding the delay. You see here there's some delays in the process. Here we exclude the delay because in the calculation sometimes you don't want to see the delay. For example, the cost calculation, often you don't want to include these, but not always. So the tables, if we go on there's a cycle time analysis. So you just input the number of days, number of hours per day that you're open. You just choose here from 1 to 24, the number of days per week that you're open, and the duration that you would like to see the cycle time. Do you want it in minutes, in hours, and day, and weeks? And all the calculations are done according to your setup here. And here you have the table, the calculation tables. By the way, all the KPIs are based on these tables. So we're going to review all that with the KPI a little later. Here, the number of activities. So before, like this is the actual and this is the target, excluding the delays here. Summary, so the number of activities total, and then the cost per one instance of process, actual versus target. The cost, by the way, you choose here the hourly rate that your company is choosing to make the calculation. And here the total cost of the period, basically you say, suppose you want to evaluate how much does it cost for a week worth of a process, and suppose you have 320 instances of that process during that week, then the calculation is going to be done according to that. So that's the analysis table. And then the best part is the KPIs. This is including the delays. So here you can see the actual versus the target, but the target, there's no data in this sheet, in this worksheet there. So we only see the actual. and you have the number of value-added activities, non-value-added activities here. You have it by detail here, whether it's transportation, delay, approval, inspection or correction, searching, and all that. So we're going to go through all that. The cost for the process, $520, where $70 is for value added, $450 for non-value added. And for a whole week, then it costs $166,000. If we look at the KPI excluding the delay, then you have the process cycle time. For example, this one is an hour, so we're at 1.1 hour of process time. 0.8 hours is value added, 0.4 hours non-value added. And we go here, number of activities. So we have like 16 value added activities here, 7 non-value added, the cost per one instance, and the total cost for a week worth. So this is the spreadsheet global. Now, how do we start? We start at the actual, so we're just going to close that here. And basically, when you analyze a process, you do like you do normally. You gather with a team of people that know the process from A to Z, and then you describe the process. So basically, you just do like a chart. This is in Visio, but it can be done in any tools that you have. So the first step is to describe the process step by step, who's doing the activity, and here we end up with the first process, which has 20 steps. So this is the first step, and then what you do is you export. What you can do is transcribe those steps into the Excel template here, but you can also export it with Visio. There's an export function which is very handy. So you export it, and then you go into your spreadsheet, and then you just copy paste those steps here, 20 steps of the process. So this is the first step in using the tool. Then you can do two things. You can analyze the time right now, or you can go into the detail of every activities. We're going to choose the time. So basically the time, what you do, you open the last one here, and with your team, you figure out the time that it takes to complete the activity. For example, customer contact sales. So 1 minute, but there's a 5 minute of waiting time on the phone there for the customer. So this is a delay, unwanted activity, waiting time, delay. So basically you go and you fill out those time here. For example, this one here, identify customer needs. There's an 8 minute value added, but there's a 2 minutes of searching. So you just go on and on. So at the top there, you have the task, you have the gateway decision point, you have the event, start and end event, and basically these are value added, and then all the rest are non-value added. So transportation or traveling, delay, waiting time, approval, inspection, correction, searching for an object, searching for a file, and searching for a folder, searching for a tool, and other non-value added activities. So the idea is to go down and figure out the time. Now with your team, usually they know the process, so they know the approximate time, so you can use that time as a guideline. If you need more precision, then you may want to go back and take a real sample of processes that happened in the past. You could take a sample of 10 or 30, or you can ask your team, your master person at the company, to see what would be a good sample size. If you do like a lean Six Sigma analysis, most often you would choose a sample size that is significant. So you go on and you describe all the time, the best of your knowledge, and at the end you end up with the total time. So this is taken for the calculation. Here you have the total time in minutes, and here it's the total time but excluding the delay. So the 278 minutes there, it's excluding, so 68 minutes. And this is the number of activity. So all the calculations are based on that here. So once you've done this analysis, and then you can go and analyze furthermore your process, and then you can, we're going to go through this here pretty quickly. Basically, this is if you want to put the previous step and the next step. This is the ID of this task. This is the BPMN form, whether it's a task, a gateway, sub-process, start, transition. This is for description of the process. For example, you want to detail how you perform the activity. This is for the RASCI. So at the top, you just put in the people that are involved in that process. So the 4 swim lanes that I told you before, these are the roles that are used. And then for every, you choose the RASCI. You know, the RASCI, if you're not familiar, R is for responsible, A is for accountable, S is for support, C is for consulted, and I is for informed. So basically you go through that as you see fit, and then there's the artifact. So you could also put the input, the output of that task, if you feel it's necessary. At the end, when you do your business requirements, your business needs, it's always good to know what's the input required, what's the output required in more detail, and then you can build the requirements based on that. Rules and policies that are used, risks that are encountered during this activity, control, KPI if there's any KPI. So these are the artifacts that could be used. Then the technologies and assets. At the very top here, you write your own, but this could be like this task is accomplished with email. This is post service. This is telephone conversation. This is MS Teams, web online. This is CRM, ERP, the tool that are using, or application number 1, application number 2, or any other tool like an Excel or whatever. So the idea is to put a 1 there vis-a-vis the assets or technology that are used. This is going to be very useful because at the end you can sort and you say, hey, this tool, we use it all the time, we're losing some time, there's an opportunity for improvement. All right, this is the performance column. So this is like a very simple column. You choose whether it's a green, red, or yellow icon. You choose between 1, 0, -1. But with your team, when you now analyze a situation and you feel that there's an issue, then you put a red there. If there's no issue, but you're not sure it's optimal, you could put like a 1 for a 0 for a yellow. And if everything is fine, then you put a 1 for a green. So basically, at the end, when you look at it, you see, oh, there's some green here, opportunity for improvement. This is the issue, so this is the column for issues. So you can write the issues that you encounter during the activity. So basically, it's a neat, easy way to sort of visualize the opportunity for improvement. Here, as you go along, you can write any business needs. Of course, in the target, the target situation, you would want to mark here what are the main business needs. And from there, you'll be able to go and write your business requirements. So this is, in a nutshell, how you would describe all the process, the actual process, and analyze with your team. You can do a SWOT analysis here to sort of highlight the issues and highlight the things that are going well as well. And once you have done that, then you go back to your Visio and you say, okay, so this is the situation. We have a lot of green, we have some yellow, bit of green here, we have a lot of red, opportunity for improvement. And it's from that point, after you've analyzed the process with your team, you say, hey, we can really improve the process. So you start a new process, like a target process. You brainstorm with your team, and then you may come up with some kind of a process like this here with 15 steps instead of 20. So you combine element, you use technologies. For example, here CRM, automate, there's one task here that is done now with the CRM, which was not done automatically before, and all that. So you can optimize the process. Once you optimize the process, then you go back to your sheet here, and you go into the target, and then you write down your 15 steps. Once you've written down these 15 steps, you can go and say, okay, what's the time on that though? Now you sort of evaluate with your team the target, time for every one of those activities, and if there's any delay, or if the delays are reduced, then you reduce them there. So you have like a time analysis of a target process. Then you can go into more detail and then go on and describe the roles, add the new, for example, if you have automate, roles, and you write it there. And then you go to the artifacts, you modify the input and output accordingly, risk control and all that. Technologies, then you could sort of write, say, there's a new app that we're going to put here, there's a CRM that we're going to use more often, and then you go on, you put your one at whatever the technology is going to be used. And then after that, you just assess with your team, the performance, and you can see that there's like 2 red, but there's a lot of green. So we've improved the process. We still have some issues, but we've improved the process, and this is the business need. So basically, this column is where you're going to go into more details for the target and saying, hey, in order to accomplish this process, we need this and this and this. And then you go into more details. That's going to help you to write your business requirement. Then once that is done there, you can look at the analysis, and you're going to look at the table. So again, all KPIs are a representation of the table, but let's go down basically. Here you have the number of minutes for the actual and for the target. So you can see that all the new timing is in there on the actual, and this is including the delay. So with the red here, this is excluding the delay. And then the cycle time, as I mentioned before, you choose the number of days, number of hours per day that you're working, and number of days per week, and then choose the cycle time display. In this case, it's hours, but it could be again day, could be week. So let's say we're going to choose hours, and then once we've chosen hours, then the cycle time is calculated here. For example, actual duration 1.1 hours, and on the target you have 0.5. We'll look at the KPIs. It's much easier and much fun to look at the KPI. This is the number of activities, actual versus target. And this is the total number of activities. We'll look at the KPI just later. And here, cost. You just put the right cost here, hourly cost for your company. So you have the calculation, and then the summary of the cost. For example, $103 for the actual cost, and target cost $47. And here the target cost, the number of instances of process for a period of whatever you decide, a week, hour, day. We're going to leave it at week. And then we have the total cost. So let's go into the KPI. So we've got this one. We've got for example, the process cycle time. We go from 5.8 hours to 1 hour. You see, it's very visual. It helps you and your team to see the improvement. Value added time, you went from 0.8 hour to 0.5. But the non-value added time, you went from 5 hours to 0.6, so it's great improvement. So this is a nice thing. You can copy paste that in a PowerPoint, make a presentation. Here you can have the detail per activity for the duration, for example, the value added, the gateway, the event, transportation, delay, waiting time, approval. So this is in minute. This is in minute. This is in hours because you decided you have an hour. Here, the number of activities, we went from 32 to 21. Value added 17 to 13, and non-value went from 15 to 8. So you really improve the process. Cost per one instance, $520. Bear in mind that this includes the delay, so there's a lot of dollars in the delay. Personally, most of the time, the cost aspect, you look without the delay. But in some cases, it could be with the delay. For example, if you have somebody that needs to wait in line and he's on the payroll and you have to pay for the waiting, then this is significant at the time. So the total cost went from $104,000 in the week to $18,000. This is for 200 occurrences of the process. If we look at without the delay, so here without the delay, then you have the total of all the time, the activities. So see approval, we went from 5 minutes to 2 minutes. Inspection correct, we went from 3 to 1. So overall, this is the overall, we went from 1.1 hour to 0.5 hours total time. So we really cut in half the cycle time. And value added time, we lowered that number. And the non-value added time, we just lowered quite a bit here. Number of activities, so we went from 24 to 16. Here the cost per one instance, so $103 to $47, really good. Non-value went from $33 to $6, so really good improvement. But overall, say for a week worth of process, you have like a 200, so the cost would be like $20,000, going down to $9,000. So you can see that the cycle time, the cost aspect is instant. It's very visual. Your team would love it, and also your management team will love it because this is like hard data. So in a nutshell, this summarizes the tool. Again, what I mentioned before, the level of detail is really up to you. I suggest you start small and then you just build your case, put the time here, and then after that you can go into more detail, and this will really help you to get all the issues and finally define your business needs. And if we go back to the process here, then this is the revised process. So this is a short summary of the tool. If you have any question, don't hesitate to call. Good success in your project.